This is Diane, ShePrompts, and actually be bring your own or build your own AI as well is here. I'm doing this live because I had a great interaction with a fellow business owner on LinkedIn, and it reminded me just how much fun I have had working with an app called Catalyst. Now, I have been putting up some content on my page about that. But basically, the idea is this: as a small business, or if you're freelancer, or if you're solo business owner, you can actually go ahead and create your own video ads. It does it's a bit of a process because some people are just going to have to work through it and play around with it. And I have been with Catalyst. I've been working with Catalyst for I'd say a few years now. I had been there with them since the beginning. But what really prompted me, I'm going to share with you what really prompted me was that I was seeing some really fantastic ads from a particular company. And I kind of, before I had kind of, looked through the ads and said, okay, this is cool. But they kind of shifted it and it made me realize just how important storytelling is going to be for businesses, for small businesses. It's not necessarily how the ad looks because I've seen errors in the ads, in the AI ads that this company has. I've seen it, but the storytelling is what really makes it compelling, and that is something I don't think many people realize yet, but you guys will. Now, let me go ahead and I'm going to share my screen, minimize this, and bring this up. Let me actually expand this because I don't need it to be small. I need it to be actually huge. And here is the company. The company is called, I think this is Coursive. Let me make sure. Well, either way, this is the actual home. Let me see this one. I have it right here. Now, if you've seen these kind of animations, and actually some of them are cinematic, so they're cinematic as in highly as in photorealistic. But this is really a great. I mean, it's okay. There is definitely, I won't play the whole thing, but if you've seen any advertisements like this, I think there's one of the broccoli, which I thought was very amazing. But this is the kind of really fun storytelling that is getting people's attention because I've seen the comments. It's highly engaging, a lot of engagement. And if you're running something like, say, a local business, this is something that you wanna lean into, especially if you're a small business owner. Right now, it is summer in Jamaica, so it's going to be very, very hot. Actually, it's not going to be. It is very hot. So one of the things that I had with my the person I was talking to, is that he had a very cool story. So I'm going to go into Catalyst and I'm going to actually map out this project, just basically map out the project and show you the fundamentals of how to use an app like Catalyst as an AI storyboarding app that can actually help you to generate videos, not just images. As I've said, I've been with Coursera for a while. You can take a look at the list of projects I had. I've been kind of working with them. I did them for other different projects as well. This is one of the first like images I did. This is the dark graphic novel style. Is I don't think it's available anymore. I don't think it is available anymore, but they do have a list of different styles that you can play around with as well as templates. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and we're going to go and create a project right now. I already have mapped out an idea of what I want this to be. So I'm going to actually copy and paste that to make sure. And what you can do is you can do a new project. I'm in my projects right now. You can do a new project from here, or you can go home and you can go generate idea from script, blank project, or create a preset. So you have these different presets here. Is a rom-com type preset. Isekai Portal Awakening. These are just different styles. They're pre-made styles that you can basically wrap your story in this pre-made style. So, but what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to just go from scratch as I normally do. You can have the duck quest short, which is very cute. I've actually played around with that one. It's very cute. And I've played around with anime. So we're going to go ahead and go generate idea from script, and I'm going to put the script in right here. You can upload a script if you have something or paste it from the clipboard. I'm just going to go ahead and put in this. Now the number of scenes depends. Of course, the more number of scenes, the more time it's going to take. But for right now, we're just going to go through and go with the flow. And this is as an HVAC local business. And I said, oh my gosh, you can turn that into a video ad and it would actually work out. And you can maybe even for those who are maybe struggling to get customers, to find their customers in the surrounding areas, this is one way that you can actually do that. You can create this AI video, put it up on say Facebook or even in YouTube. Work on your YouTube, on your advertising, come up with a budget. I'm sure you already have a budget, and then come up with your own funnel of how to generate leads and how to get those leads to take a look at your services and all this other stuff. And you can actually do that if you have the right story. It'll be a lot easier. So for right now, as I said, when it comes to this part, this is where you have the script. I put in my idea and actually had a little bit of a script. I put in my idea, and you can go ahead and you can edit this, but I'm more a visual person, so I have to actually see the storyboard before I do anything. So the number of scenes is fine. And yes, this is actually Sorry, Miss Jackson. Those of us who in the music who know about a little bit about music know what this Sorry, Miss Jackson, we know what it's mean. And believe me, that's exactly what happened, whatever you're thinking. So we're going to generate script. And as I've said, this is something that actually, hold on, sorry about that. We're going to go next, not generate scripts. The script has already been generated. Now we're going to go through and go for the style. Now you have a bunch of different styles here: pencil drawing, you have comic book, you have wood block print, anime is up there, and then you have computer animation. I kind of like this one, so I'm actually going to choose this one. I think I've done it once with computer animation, so I'm going to try this one. And just an FYI, oil painting, I've done oil painting and I've done cinematic. I kind of like the oil painting is a mixture between an oil painting and maybe a cinematic representation. So it's a great mixture. It's very unique, and I highly recommend that one. So we're going to proceed to creating the cast. Now, the one thing that has really tripped up AI video has been its failure to have consistent characters. As I've said, the one thing I had always loved about Catalyst is that it did that from way back when, before everybody else did. You had consistent characters, you had AI storyboarding, you put them together. I created several different videos. I have a special section in my YouTube video. I've actually done it with projects. So Catalyst has been with me for years in varying degrees. And I've seen people even, come up and say it's very user friendly. And it is. So if you've never done anything like this before, this will work. It'll work for you. Okay. So here we have the characters that are going to be in here. This is Miss Jackson, and this is you or your service tech or whoever. If you want to put yourself in the video, great. Not a problem. I think if anything, it's probably a fun way to put yourself in the video. 5'10". They came up with that. That's fine. Now, the very important part here is the voice. Excuse me. And in another video, I'll go a little bit more in detail about how to edit this, how to really kind of get the most out of it. But right now, as I said, this is going to be just a journey through how to just go through and play around with Catalyst to generate frames and your videos and stuff like that. Okay, so we have these different voices. This is Bill Mail. I'm going to have him be Bill. And the one thing I will say, I mean, while I love Catalyst and I really appreciate how much they have grown in leaps and bounds, the fact that I can't really hear the voice first is one of the things that kind of throws me off. That's one of the ways that I would actually go through and maybe use 11 Labs first and then upload a voice. But I'll go through that again in subsequent videos. And Miss Jackson, I'm going to change her voice. She's 5'5". Again, I did not come up with this, but hey. I just came up with Miss Jackson in general, but came up with, AI kind of came up with its own how she should look. I'm gonna go with Samantha female senior, which could be hers. Again, I can't hear the voice, so I don't really know, but we'll go into that a little bit more. Okay. So now that we have the cast, and if you didn't want these particular look for the projects, you can actually go ahead and let me just show you. You can go ahead and even generate. You can save it. You can generate your own and put it in here. So you have the character description. Maybe he's wearing something different, whatever it is. But you can go in and generate it a little differently. So I'm good with Miss Jackson. I'm good with the tech. And we're going to go ahead and create the project. One of the things that it's going to show you, it's 16:9. I decided 16:9 as the default, but you can create these projects as 9:16 as one by one. You have the option of the dimensions of the videos. So you can actually go through, it's creating everything from the script. And if you want, you can put in a new frame, right? You can actually add the new frame here in between. If you find that you need, right now I set it up as 10. If you find that you need more frames or more chapters, you go ahead and you just add one and you put in the image, or you actually prompt and you put it in. Now, again, I use quite a few different platforms, and inevitably, I always wind up going to CapCut to stitch it together. So even with this as it is, that will not change. I still have to go through CapCut and just stitch it all together and see how it works. So one of the things is that you can, of course, you can generate your own stuff in CapCut as well. But I kind of like it where I have a little bit more control over the voice. I usually go to 11 Labs. If I find something here that works for me, great. If I want some kind of inflection in the voice, I'll go to 11 Labs. But the fact that I can actually, that someone who maybe has never done this before and doesn't know much about 11 Labs, doesn't know much about how to really use CapCut, they can actually create a decent video, a very simple video, by just playing around with Catalyst. Now, Miss Jackson's looking a little stressed there. And again, this laid out the, okay, as you can see right here, this is an anomaly. This doesn't happen very often. Before AI has become what's become, this used to happen a lot, and I'd have to generate over and over. So I can honestly say that something like this does not happen very often. It doesn't really separate like this. But if it does, you can actually go ahead and we'll regenerate this. So just give me a second and I'll show you guys how to do that. So if you happen to see just an overt anomaly like this, just go in here. We're going to regenerate this image and make sure here's an image. Regenerate. And it says here, Ms. Jackson sits at the table, shoulders, and the way that you denote the different characters is the at. So you're talking about at Jackson, at the tech. And then you have the option of putting in all the details that you want, maybe the lighting. If you're very good at figuring out, of knowing, the different perspectives, whether it's, dolly in, fade out, whatever it is, the camera stuff, put that in there. Catalyst is surprisingly, actually you can actually put this in here right here. You have long shot, medium shot, extreme, close up, bird's eye view. And then you have a shot from above, below, all this other. So if you're comfortable using that lingo and understanding how that will affect your image, I am not. I admit this. I maybe will play around with it. Then you can go ahead and play around with and add those elements to your prompt. So I'm just going to take it as is, and we're going to go ahead and regenerate. Okay. All right, it's going to regenerate. And then once it's regenerated, you're going to have to select the if it comes up with a good image, which usually it does, it comes up with it's very good at it's much better at generating images than it was. When Catalyst first came out, of course, as with any company, it was a struggle, but it was just cool to have, and I'm surprised and very happy to see how much it has grown. So take its time here. Awesome. Chapter generated successfully. So I think this means, yeah, 16 images. So it did come up with 16 images instead of 10. So it kind of took the story, a little bit longer. But again, you can go through those timelines and edit and take out and combine however it is that you want. But let's go ahead and just finish generating this image or this new image. Since you can navigate away, I kind of like to keep my eye on stuff. I won't mind. But again, with these, when you're talking about telling a story, it's extremely important, especially in a time when other companies may be using AI to their advantage and you may not be the one who kind of understands how to do it. So, but if you're able to tell a story, people don't really mind what it looks like as long as you make them feel something. That's the key I'm finding, and I'm realizing it's something that we learned as when we, in copywriting. It's not necessarily you. Yeah, you have to have good language, good grammar stuff, but if you are able to create a more compelling story and to get your point across using leveraging the emotion, leveraging the pain points, emphasizing the benefits instead of features, you wind up actually being more successful than somebody who just kind of slapped something together and just threw it up on the internet because, well, AI. So just keep that in mind whenever you're creating anything with regards to AI generated images and AI generated videos in particular. Okay, so let me actually let me close this out since it's going to take a while. It says, and of course, how long this is generated takes depends on how many people are on the internet traffic, so it does have a dependency on that. But as you can see, the story basically goes, he went to her house or something was broken, he told her the price, and inevitably the the moniker Sorry Miss Jackson did come up. I was very happy to see that when I read his story. I was hoping it would, and it did. So, and now we basically have something, about what is it? One, two, three, four, five, about 16 frames in the story. And again, you can delete them, you can add more, however you want to do it. Now, hold on, let's go ahead and finish this. Unsampling visual. It does take its time to do stuff. Okay. So once you have that, it's still unsampling. So once we have this image done, I'm going to show you again, it's a very quick way of how you can add your audio and video, the elements, how to really generate those elements. Okay. And just as with anything else, if you, for example, have this, you can go ahead and delete that. If you feel like you don't, go ahead and delete it, edit it, copy that frame. Maybe there's something in there that you wanted to do, or you can download it. Now, as I mentioned, I'd like to go into like CapCut and stitch stuff together. So what I would do is I would actually download each of these, or you can download them all together in a zip, I believe. Um, and you can, go through and just edit it in whatever, I think they said Adobe Premiere. You can edit it however you want. So for this one, I'm going to go ahead and just say create video. Now what you're going to see is you're going to see the entire timeline of what you created. And again, we can go ahead in the next video. I'm going to go through a little bit more detail about how to edit these images, the videos, the text, and all that. But I just wanted to give you guys an idea of what you can do within Catalyst. So go ahead and you can add the voice and the music. Now, remember in the beginning when I did the voice, if you were to go here for tech, it would tell you that you need to update the character's assignment. So that's why we go ahead and go ahead and change that in the beginning. You edit the character, you change it to the voice that you want, not a problem. And then if you the narrator is going to be just Bill or whomever you choose, but the characters themselves have to be the voices have to be changed in the character setting. And just to go back on something, hold on a second. For this project, the characters are up here. The cast is up here, the locations are up here, and you can add a character if you want. You can add a location, however you want to do it. So let's go back to creating that video. So since I've chosen Bill, let's see. Now I have done I'm going to do auto narration. And like I said, I'm going to go through in another video and do a little more detail, but I'm going to do auto narration. So unfortunately, we won't get the full video, but once I'm done with this, you guys, I think this is going to be so fun. And I'm actually going to share it with a guy who inspired this story and see what he thinks of it. But you can go ahead and you can generate all videos. If you're comfortable with what is there, you can go ahead and generate videos for all of them. It's going to take a while, but you can do it. Now, you have the choice of different models for generating videos. Google Veo 3.1 is good. OpenAI Sora 2. Now, Sora, as we know, Sora is now off the market. They have decommissioned it, and that's fine. I kind of had my reservations about it, even though it looked really good. It still had a little bit of a wonkiness to it. But the API for Sora won't really go out until September 2026. So later on this year. So they still have the model. They can do whatever they want. It's theirs to do however they want. But OpenAI has chosen not to do that. They have decommissioned it. I like Runway Gen Pro. When you get to Kling, Kling Standard, and Kling Pro, and Pixverse, and these guys are pretty good. They have very good lip syncing abilities. So if you want to do that here, you can. I'm going to go ahead and stick with VO 3.1. And it tells you for all of these videos, every one of these is going to cost you 700 for all of it together. It's going to cost 768 video credits. Again, everything here has credits. I do have some credits. I forgot how many I have, but I have quite a few credits, and I can play around with it. It depends on which plan you have. And I will definitely, if you're interested in getting on and getting a trial with Catalyst, go ahead. For those of you on Facebook, go ahead and type the words anime, 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 and I will definitely I'll DM you that link to go into and get a free trial of Catalyst. So go ahead and go with generate videos, and it's going to take a while. You see right here, it's like the little pink pinwheel running, so it's going to take its time to generate this. Okay, so again, let me see the storyboard. While it's doing that, it's going to do that in the background. It's not going to stop doing it because I moved away. So I think this is the one that we did. Yes, this is 11. So this is the one that I think we redid, because if I'm not mistaken, this one looks, yeah, this one's more along the lines of what you need. And you can see here it does the panning right and all that. I guarantee you, I am not the one to know. I know something about dolly in and dolly out, but I don't know why it's necessary sometimes. There are better much people who are better directors than I will ever be, but I kind of do what I can anyway. So it doesn't matter if you don't know how to really work it. Um, but again, we see here that maybe some of these don't need to be there. So we can go ahead and maybe delete this frame. And this frame is going to be your CTA. So you can go in and do basically like some kind of an overlay text. And as you can see from the beginning, I mean, it's not necessarily the right thing for to have the air conditioning unit on the outside, but if you're doing it to just prove a point, it fits. And then you can go ahead and continue with that theme throughout just to keep it consistent. But again, consistent characters all the way through, right? That is something that even the good platforms still struggle with, but Catalyst has been able to do, and it's been doing that for years or for a long time. I think it's been around for like 2 or 3 years. I've forgotten, but it's been around for a bit. And I think people are just now kind of getting into it because you can actually you can access all the different models. Like I said, the VO, Kling, Pixverse. It's an AI image and video suite of tools, very similar to Leonardo. But I think Leonardo is a bit more intense. This is very one-sided because it's considered more of an AI storyboarding. Because you can't really do this type of storyboarding in Leonardo or in any other platform, I don't think. I don't think I've ever seen a platform do this, where it basically lays out each story frame by frame. And then you can decide what you want to take, what you want to add. It's was ahead of its time and it's still ahead of its time, really. All right, so let me take a look at the video section. So if it looks like I'm really just enjoying Catalyst, okay, hold on a second. Okay, so 6 frames had a problem generating, and sometimes that happens. It's AI. What we can do is we can actually go into it, or actually, hold on a second. Yeah, that kind of worked. Okay, let me go into this particular frame. Let me hold on a second. Yeah, so I mean, you can go through and we can edit this one. And for those that have failed, you can go ahead and actually generate the video individually and maybe make some changes to it. But either way, you can modify it however you want. But as I mentioned, hold on a second. That's fine where it is. I'm not going to really go through and edit that completely right now. But here you have the overlay. When I asked it to do the auto narration, it didn't do the narration I wanted to do, but I just wanted to show you what you could do if you had no idea what the characters were going to say or what the voiceover was going to have. So it's going to narrate this, and you can go in and actually you can just, I'm not going to go into it right now, really and truly. So I'm actually just going to show you what it is. But you can, since this is going to be a little bit over, you can move this over because it's a little bit far. Move this one over. You can edit it as much as you want to and need to. Oops. Right? You can delete whatever you need to delete, and then you can play around. I don't know why that bunny came in there. Yeah. 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 So you have this, you have a video that you can edit and do whatever you want, but you have the actual each frame of the story lay it out. You can edit, you can delete, you can add, you can do whatever you want. So in the next videos, I'm going to show you guys a little bit more in detail about how you can play around with it. And I'm going to use this Miss Jackson cool comeback story to do that. But again, I just wanted to share with you guys what is possible with the tools that you have. And one of the tools that I really recommend for anybody who wants to create good, play around with it and create some really cool storytelling ads that you can use to advertise your business, Catalyst. Again, if you want a free trial of Catalyst, go ahead and hit the word anime if you're on Facebook. For those of you guys on YouTube, I'll put in the link that you can go ahead and check out the free trial for Catalyst and play around with it. So stay tuned for some more videos on how to play around with Catalyst. And I'm going to see if there are any questions. So far, so good. So anybody has any questions, of course, hit me up in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. But I'll see you guys in the next video, and go into Catalyst when you can and just have a lot of fun with it, please. It's a very, very cool app.